This one started out with a couple riff ideas of mine. Really based on the right-hand riff kind of technique that we use a lot. Very simple, but sometimes it's the simple riffs that have a lot of impact when you got just a solid groove, you know, if your drummer's doing a lot of cool shit. But this one in particular, there's a lead section in the song where I directly lift a couple licks off a song called Psychic Vacuum by Voivod. It's my own personal tribute to Piggy. He was a very big influence on me as a guitar player. He passed on, so you know we're all big Voivod fans, so it's a big tribute hidden within the song. But there's a lot of influence just from the super tight rhythms that we love to play and stuff. But it's a good headbanging, ripping song that kicks you in the balls, I think.
The title Shame came up with, and the word hammer, instantly I thought we'll do something related to Thor's hammer. So it's about Thor rising up from a deep slumber and uniting all the heathens of the world to crush all the other weakling gods. And it felt good to come back and touch upon some of the Viking, Norse mythology that we've done in years past. It's always Norse mythology, Vikings in general, always kind of very inspiring. We're not the first band to do it, but it's always great subject matter.
This is a song that it was the last song that we wrote. Justin wrote all the music for it in the studio. We basically it was our last day tracking drums, and Justin had all these cool parts, and one of his ideas for the song was to have many parts that never repeat themselves. So if you listen to the song, there's a lot of cool movements and the song flows, but none of the parts repeat. And that's something we never tried before. It's a short song, but it's probably the most progressive song on the album, I would say. Again, you can hear a little bit of Voivod in that, I think, inadvertently. It wasn't on purpose, but we're influenced by all kinds of stuff, but I hear that the most. And but Justin did a great job last minute. Cool song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wrote the lyrics for this one, at least a couple years ago. Didn't get to fit it on the last record, but found a way to get it in this time. And I was inspired a lot by stories of the Conan the Barbarian, and in particular when he's his conflict with the Temple of Set and killing snakes and killing snake cultists and the like. So those who are familiar with Conan and the Set worshippers, people should respond to that if they know of that subject matter already.
One of the songs that I brought to the table, one of the first ones I brought to the table alongside Justin's first few. These are just some ideas that I had sitting around for a while. Again, it's just we have the tendency to write some fast ones and then some slow ones, and this in particular is one of the faster. But one of the terms we like to use is just a pummeling riff with a really fast beat, and we like to change it up, some cool stops and starts and that. And then I have a nice chaotic kind of solo section, and then finishing it off with a nice kind of hammering riff at the end, and that's how that song came together.
Yeah, the words came to me. I was in one of my weekly Dungeons and Dragons sessions back home, and those words, "at the foot of the Great Glacier," came into the narrative by our dungeon master. So I thought that'd be a good song title, but I didn't write it about anything related to D&D. Instead, I created my own story about, scaling a glacier, a particularly challenging one that has taken lives, and the many trials and tribulations that people will face along the way when trying to complete such a formidable task. And everything from the relentless snow and ice to whatever creatures may lurk upon the mountain.
Justin thought of this title. One of Justin's favorite movies is Rosemary's Baby, and the Satanists that are featured in that movie have a book. That's the title of the book. You should watch the movie. I won't get into it too much, but this is one of the songs that Justin brought to the table that I feel is his most epic song I think he's ever written. He's written a lot of stuff, but he had very specific, really specific ideas with the fade in and the intro. Justin he's a really good keyboardist, so he had some really cool ideas with that. There's a really cool middle section in that song that song itself has a lot of peaks and valleys in it, which lends to like just that epic, sounding song, it clocks in at a few minutes, but it's it doesn't seem that long because there's so many different things going on with it, and it has that real 3 inches of what I call like just that real 3 inches of blood dual guitar thing going throughout. Him and I wrote that together. We worked hard at writing just cool dual guitar stuff, Alongside the obvious ones, him and I listened to a lot of dual guitar players like the guys from Thin Lizzy in all the lineups, and we really want to just carry on. That's one of the 3 inches of blood sounds that we really want to carry on, and try new stuff, but keep it within the framework that we're known for.
Yeah, Justin came up with the title, but doesn't have anything to do with Rosemary's Baby. I took it in another direction and went with the witches aspect of it, and thought about the old witch trials back in the in the Dark Ages, all the way up to like colonial America, where people were being burned at the stake, unjustly because of their seemingly anti-Christian habits or behavior.
This is something that it is never done on a 3 inches of blood record, and that's had just a specific track that was just an acoustic guitar piece. This is a song that the main idea for the song I actually came up with when I was about 14 years old, and I've just always been a fan of acoustic guitar. Like I look at just the placement of this song kind of like Orchid on Masters of Reality, Black Sabbath, and it's kind of like the calm before the storm, and just a nice different musical thing that just to show some variety in an album. I'm a big fan of stuff like Led Zeppelin is a great example of a band that mixes acoustic music with heavy rock and stuff. But I wrote it when I was 14, but that was like basically the 33-year-old version of something I've been playing forever. And it actually leads into the final track on the album. I don't really have any specific influence for that song, but I'm just always been a huge fan of just those really mighty rhythm guitar players that I grew up listening to, so that's just how I play guitar now, and I just thought of like some cool the riffs that I think are cool anyway, that just go together, and it's kind of a challenge sometimes to write a really long song that it doesn't get boring, so actually before Cam thought of lyrics for that song, to me I was like, maybe we should cut the song down a little bit, but once there was actual verses and stuff, we were just like, the song's fine the way it is. It starts out one way and then it ends another way, but the song's bookended by the same kind of epic sounding intro and outro. But
And the lyrics are, the execution tank is pretty straightforward. It is a secret weapon of an unnamed, army or force, and it's basically the weapon that just goes out and cleans out the battlefield, and it can't be stopped. No matter how hard you try, you can run, but it'll find you, and it is a tide turner. It's the almighty encompassing power of hell unleashed upon your enemies. Do what you might, but you will be destroyed.
So there.